Hey guys, back here again with another review today of the debut solo album, QUAVO HUNCHO from trap superstar Quavo. Quavo at this point is a household name, being at center stage with his gigantic rap trio Migos, with him, Offset, and Takeoff. And more recently has come together with fellow gigantic rapper producer Travis Scott to create the duo Huncho Jack. But besides of all that other work, this still is his first piece of work as a solo artist. Coming into the album, I was kind of just expecting more of the same after their last outing as Migos with Culture 2, as I did like some select singles on the entire album, but as an entire project it felt bloated and just kind of wrong at points. And coming into this, nobody really knew Quavo was going to do this. He just kind of out of the blue dropped 3 singles with just him alone, Workin' Me, Lamb Talk, and Bubblegum. But to me, out of the 3 singles, Workin' Me and Lamb Talk were really range from just bland and uninspired to bad at points, while Bubblegum was a bit more sticky and poppier, and I kind of felt it had a bit more of a commercial quality to it that I felt I could connect to it as well, and it did have a better sound than the other two, was a bit more addictive. And I was correct for the most part with my assumptions, with a lot of the tracks really just recycling the same old triplet flow that the Migos have popularized, with tracks like Pass Out, while others just kind of disconnected and not really in tune or polished whatsoever, like tracks like Keep That Shit and Lost It. However, there are a few songs that I appreciate for very certain aspects, and that I don't really feel help the overall quality of the album, just kind of work as just kind of singular songs that I would like to revisit, as this thing is kind of extremely long too, at 19 tracks, coming off of that Culture 2 kind of bloated style, and it really, and Quavo totally didn't get the message there and kind of just applies it to his project here as well, which I feel is a total mistake. But besides that, going into the tracks I like, Champagne Rosé was a track that, when I first saw it on the track list, I was a little surprised to see Madonna, Cardi B, and Quavo on a track together, as they do have history, Madonna and Quavo, as I believe Quavo used Madonna's mansion for a music video, either on Culture 2 or for one of the singles. And really, I didn't really dislike the song. I don't really care for Cardi B's verse at all, but the flute that is commonly found on and scattered throughout the rest of the album is on here as well, which I do feel is a little bit overused in the general theme of the album. But still, on this track, I still feel like it's a highlight of use of that. And the Madonna feature on this actually kind of is the big spot that I like to listen to, with her doing this chorus with the auto-tune on, and it just kind of sounds really, it reminds me of Star, kind of, where she'd kind of come in for help, and she produces and stuff, but alone it didn't feel like she had the voice or the vocals to really support and stand up on her own like that. And obviously Madonna does, having a long backlog of music that has been gigantically popular, but in this particular instance, she definitely comes through as this kind of addition that really adds to the track. The track Go All The Way is produced by legend Pharrell Williams, of course, as he is friends with the Migos and Quavo, and he whipped up this quick beat for him, and that results in with these really plinky, futuristic melody in it, and that really comes together for this trap banger, along with this kind of well mixed in the background over the chorus of Quavo just saying no cap. It really hits hard and really gets me more interested in listening to the song over and over, as it does make it stand out with a bit more depth with that mix. And while there are a few other highlights, the lowlights clearly outshine. Biggest Alley-Oop, the opener to the album, starts with this grand, beautiful kind of chorus, and I was like, okay, this might seem different, as it did seem like something that the Migos don't typically do. And then about like 20 seconds in or so, it just cuts off and goes to that flute sound that I was talking about. But this one in particular, it just sounds so weak, like it was like bullied and beaten up and shoved into a locker in high school. The single Lamb Talk is definitely the worst single, but I find it just laughable, especially at how bad the chorus is, with him just saying lamb talk over and over, and the ad lib of him saying Lamborghini just sounds so ridiculous and surface level and uninspired. I have a hard time listening to it and taking the song seriously as a trap motivational banger. In addition of that as well, in the first verse he literally repeats "it up" at the end of every single line, and it just sounds so bland and like you just whipped it up in 20 minutes with no. And honestly, he probably did. All those things compared to this last song are small, microscopic in comparison on the song Huncho Dreams, which is a response to the Nicki Minaj wide-ranging kind of diss track, Barbie Dreams, off her last album, Queen. And Barbie Dreams was kind of aimed at all the guys that kind of like tried to make a move on her, and she kind of rejected. And one of the people she just kind of briefly sweeps on and doesn't really get into too much stuff about like some other people on the song is QUAVO. And QUAVO decides to make this entire song dedicated to her about how he did fuck her or something like that. But QUAVO just doesn't understand and really just kind of loses connection with the reality in this. The song's made in poor taste with poor production and cringy lyrics. It has a outro where QUAVO just sounds like he forgot he was still recording, was just kind of thinking of ad-libs to say, and so he just starts kind of mumbling into the mic and making weird-ass noises for the last like minute of the track. And then on top of that all, for some reason, he takes the melody, the vocal melody from Drake's "In My Feelings" and puts new lyrics over top with, instead of Kiki, saying Nicki. And this all just seems so random and stupid and pointless. But overall, the production on this thing, it's pretty professional. I mean, like, it's a A-list album, trap album. I mean, I'm not saying that all the songs have amazing beats. It sounds like commercial. It's made for a crowd that can just quickly consume this and then have a few radio hits and be done. There's not many beats on this other than like that Pharrell one I was talking about that really sound like some great trap beats. But it does kind of fit to the quality that I would expect of an album like this. And there was a little bit more drama on this album too with the song Big Bro. QUAVO makes kind of vivid comments about that people then link to dissing the late emo rapper Lil Peep. Personally, I don't think this was really aimed at Lil Peep, as it is very, very vague and doesn't really connect any direct connections with Lil Peep whatsoever. But people seem to think so. And honestly, I didn't really even see it as a diss. He's kind of just giving advice, and people just kind of blew it out of proportion. And then even earlier, as on today of recording, QUAVO even came on Twitter and said that he wasn't trying to insult Peep or anybody else that had passed, and thinks that is disrespectful to do that, even though some people for some reason still think that it was aimed towards Peep, which makes no sense. And while we're stopped on this track, I do want to mention one last thing with QUAVO just having a little skit in the middle of the track where his little brother calls and tells him that his chain's stolen, and QUAVO, the writing and acting is just so atrocious and bad. It makes me laugh, and when I think QUAVO is trying to be kind of somewhat serious, like it is a little silly, but it's to show like QUAVO's like a good big brother. But oh man, it's just funny. I just laugh. With a lack of originality and refreshing hooks and verses, QUAVO delivers a half-assed album that with a few tracks that do hit the mark, but seemingly accidentally, and not really giving his all into what he could have made for an actual interesting trap mainstream album. And so in the end, I'm going to have to give this album a 3. Let me know what you guys thought of the album and what I should review next. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter and SoundCloud in the description below. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.